Hey, what's up everybody? It's another Tuesday on The Den. I'm JD, hailing from Minnesota in the United States. Let's get it going. Alright, so I am filming with a brand new setup that I got. It allows me to have my 4K camera mixed with new white circle lights that you can use for better film production, and I'm really excited about using it this week. It was supposed to be here last week, but it was here a day late, and I did not get it out to you guys. So this week is Viewer's Choice Week. So for this week's topic, I am selecting David Toogood's topic, and that is gay weddings. Dun 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 dun. I first wanted to start off by saying that we know that this isn't worldwide. There are still a lot of countries that do not recognize same-sex marriage, and that we on The Den are always pushing for equality and will do whatever we can to advocate and help people around the world get their right to marry the person that they love. But this topic is on gay weddings and what gay couples do that might be considered traditional, or what gay couples might do that would be considered different than the norm. For me, I have been engaged before. I was engaged to be married, and while we did call the wedding off, I have gone through the entire wedding planning process, and it was interesting from my perspective because I feel like in the gay community, when we have same-sex couples, there are a lot of people that go, it's kind of like one of two ways. There's a lot of people that probably think like, I'm not here to fit within the norm, I'm gonna do something crazy and out there. And then there are people who are like, I'm no different than anybody else and my wedding isn't different than anybody else's and I wanna be treated just like anybody else. For myself, my former fiance and I, we were going to be getting married at this rural barn wedding that had this amazing new barn that was built for weddings, and it was gonna be outdoors, and there was gonna be like a family feed buffet style kind of meal. There was gonna be the traditional ceremony, the music, the meal, the pictures, and everything, and a head table. So it was very traditional in the sense that we checked a lot of the boxes that most people traditionally check in a wedding. And at the same time, I should state that what is normal in weddings is vastly different now as it was like even 30, 40, 50 years ago, whereas more and more couples are opting out of big weddings, and either they're doing small private ceremonies, they might be getting married at the local courthouse. And that's not just same-sex couples or opposite-sex couples, that's like anybody. Like, people are just opting out of huge expensive weddings. And I was recently watching a documentary that like the average couple, like worldwide, will spend the equivalent of like $65,000 on their wedding. That's a year of like grad school on a wedding? Nope. And I think that my former relationship and I, like, our entire wedding was gonna cost us like 10 grand, and that was like no loans. That was like, we were gonna be putting our tax refunds into it, we were gonna be putting savings into it, personal money. Like, there was no loans being taken out, and people are taking out loans to pay for their wedding. Like, I don't want to pay for my wedding for years after the wedding. Like, that really defeats the purpose. And I think that when it comes to trends in weddings, whether it be traditional or same-sex or opposite sex or non-traditional, whatever it may be, I think that a lot of the trends that are coming forward with weddings are that we're seeing more and more venues and companies that are willing to do same-sex weddings, and not willing to because, as we've seen with those wedding cake lawsuits across the world, there are religious organizations that are becoming much more comfortable, or there are different sects of religions that they're much more comfortable and confident in providing same-sex weddings and services for them. And I think that that's really important for people to know, that when we hear these laws that are being passed for same-sex marriage, especially when it's legislatively built, you'll hear religious exemption. And what that is it's basically stating that no specific religion has to to do the wedding. Like, they don't have to be a minister or somebody that is actually doing the wedding. They don't have to be that person. But when it comes to public businesses, you have to. Don't let anybody tell you differently, because that is discrimination, and we will shut that shit down faster than I would stop if a squirrel runs into the road, or if it's a pine cone and I think it's a squirrel and I'd be really sad. Oh, we have a guest, Haley. I think that a lot of people are trending in the direction of finding what they want. You're really uncomfortable, aren't you? Yeah. I think that people are really trending in the direction of doing things that they want in specific for their wedding. Like they don't want flower girl, or they don't want to have one sex on either side. In my experience, we were going to have mixed genders on both sides of our wedding party, and I think that a lot of people are doing that. I've been to a few opposite sex weddings and same sex weddings where there's mixed genders on both sides, because we're breaking out of this linear thought of what gender is and gender roles and what we have to do when it comes to weddings and what the best weddings are. And I think that that's really important to be comfortable with. I think it's something that you should discuss with your partner when you're planning your wedding. Obviously, you want to plan your wedding with your partner. I don't think that there's any trend that is different in same-sex weddings than there are in opposite-sex weddings. I really don't think that there's any like commanding differences between the two. I think I've seen so many of different ideas being executed, especially when the idea and the concept of a traditional wedding is now changing. The formal definition, I guess we could say, of a traditional wedding is that, you know, ceremony, reception, dance, honeymoon, that's it. It's just changing. Like people are doing weddings on budgets, and people are doing weddings in their backyard, or they're doing really elegant weddings that still might break from the norms. So destination weddings are huge now, and people absolutely love going on destination weddings where it's just a few members of the family, and then they come back and have a reception at home with friends and whatnot and extended family. But I think overall my take on this topic is that there is no specific way to or to not have a wedding. I think that it is completely up to the couple. I think that people are starting to opt for whatever makes the couple happy, and they're not trying to appease the in-laws or previous plans. And I think I've been to a couple same-sex marriages this year, and some of them have been amazing. I mean, we were at my friend Brian and I were at one in July that like blew my freaking mind. It was my friends Mark and Jeremy, and their wedding was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was in this old historic public library in downtown St. Paul, and it was mind-blowing. It was so beautiful. You could consider what they did non-traditional because it was in a library and not in a church or a formal reception hall. But at the same time, they had a ceremony, they had dinner, they had a dance, and it was traditional in that sense. So I think in summation, a lot of what we are looking at when it comes to modern weddings is that the definition of a wedding is drastically changing, and people can kind of do whatever they want to as long as nobody gets hurt, which I have seen wedding, like I love the videos of like those really old America's Funniest Home videos where like the bride's dancing and then like the whole table collapses, or like the bridal party is out on a dock and the dock collapses and they're all like, what was happening? And we're like, there was like 18 people standing on the dock. Of course it was going to fall on top of you. But yeah, I think that it's up to the couple. I think it's up to whomever wants to be a part of the wedding. And if you want to get gay married, go get gay married. If you want to get opposite sex, I was gonna say opposite gay. That's just whatever marriage, whatever gender, whomever you're marrying, make it about you, make it about your couple, make it about the couple, make it about, oh my God, I saw that move and I legit thought it was an arm. I almost had a heart attack on camera. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this topic. I've always found it fascinating to look into the culture of what we do and how people perceive them from the outside looking in and from the in looking outside. So I hope all of you have a fantastic week. We have a lot of good topics coming up this week. Stay out of trouble, or don't, because that's never fun to stay out of trouble. It's really fun to get into trouble sometimes. Make sure you watch the rest of the videos this week. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Click a like and share with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.